Hello and welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is David Novak. Every seat is occupied up there, so I have plopped myself down in front. A lot of folks have been doing videos about their favorite book covers, and I just pulled down a bunch of books. Some people have been doing their 10 favorites, some have been doing their 20 favorite. I probably have more than 20 here, but they're not necessarily my favorite. My favorite book covers, in many cases, are of books that I no longer have. Some of the old shadow novels with, I think, Steranko covers, that first one particularly, and in some cases, a paperback of a book that I liked very much and replaced with a hardback that had a different cover. But I went through and I just picked books that were easily accessible. I have books kind of piled behind books and stacks, and I mean, it's really hard to get to a lot of the books, and so even just to look and see what I have would be difficult. So I just did kind of a superficial survey of the spines and picked out anything that was of interest to me. And you're going to see some similarities here. Now, this is a book that I just finished by Mark Bloch, and I have to say that I really grew to love this cover while I was reading it. I love the color. I love the straightforward design. Now, I'll just go one after another. This is a recent acquisition. And I love this type of cover. And you're going to see this theme repeated. This is, Every Man's Library has a very nice series called Pocket Poets, and this is Uyghur poems. I just think this is a lovely cover all around. Should try to get my finger out of the view. Some of their covers are better than others. I think this is one of the best. I bought it mainly because I liked the cover. And that does happen occasionally. Well, also because I was in a bookstore that I liked, and I like to support independent bookstores. Now, a couple of old covers. One is better than the other, but I like this type of design. My old Lewis Mumford, this Highway in the City, I think is just lovely. I have sentimental attachments to this one from the ground up, but I love these old sort of straightforward designs. Now, at one time I was thinking about reading Diarmaid MacCulloch's History of Christianity, and there is an American edition and a British edition, and I spent a couple of extra bucks to make sure I got the British edition. Now it's kind of sad because I'm not really sure that I will ever read this because I don't know how interested I am in the history of Christianity at this time. But maybe I will. Maybe I will. But this is the British edition. I love what they did with the T there. The American edition does not have this little embellishment, and it appealed to me. So it was a case of I went out of my way to purchase an edition that just really struck my fancy. Last year, I was reading The Decipherment of Linear B. I just love this cover so much. Again, you've got a nice color here and a very straightforward cover. Just marvelous. Going back to the old school, this old edition of 95 poems, just really delightful. I brought this out because it's a cover that I like. I wouldn't call it a favorite one of mine, but you see what is going on with the typeface here, and that is also sort of a hallmark of the books that I like. Now I'll show you a couple in contrast. There is this Selected Letters of Oscar Wilde, which I think is a fine cover, just really nice. And then there is a more letters of Oscar Wilde, and just of the two, I think this is so much better than that. I mean, this is just sort of clunky. I'm not saying that my taste is the best or that these books are somehow superior to some other books. It's just what appeals to me. Now, my edition of Capitalism and Slavery by Eric Williams, this cover is incredible. It's probably the best cover I've got when you think about it. You've got the chain, you've got the dollar sign, you've got the really nice typeface with that lovely ampersand. I mean, it's got all of the elements. It's the kind of book which, if I could find a hardback with this cover, I would snap it up. I don't know that such a thing exists, but just lovely. A real old thing of mine, just Robert Service. I mean, that's really lovely too. And again, you've got pretty straightforward type and a sort of simple illustration, but thoroughly delightful. Now, this is in its own way is sort of a paragon. I just think you could not ask for a better cover than this. Just look at those words. I mean, and the design behind it is fine. It's unobtrusive. Really a nice typeface. I have a companion book of sorts to this, and the font is not quite so good as this, and it's amazing what a subtle difference in font can do. So we're buzzing right through a couple of my favorite Penguin editions, the Pantone editions of Treasure Island and Anne of Green Gables. I've read Anne of Green Gables and liked it okay, and have not as yet tackled Treasure Island, but when I set out to read this was the edition I wanted, and then because I didn't want it to be lonely on its shelf, I got the Stevenson. No special plans to read it soon, but I wanted them to go together, and I don't think there were any other colors that I liked. Now, here's the odd case. This is Herodotus, the Histories, and this is the Everyman's Library. I just love the color, and I love everything about this. I mean, you know, some of this is pretty much their standard design, but I would see it going into the half-price bookstore, and just always loved it and thought I should buy it. And never did. And I think that it's not a very good translation. At least to my mind, it is not. That was one of the factors which caused me never to buy it. But then it was missing, and I gnashed my teeth because I was never going to see this lovely cover again. So at some point in the future, when I saw a copy again somewhere, I picked it up. Just really a lovely cover. There's so many here. This is something that I liked. I've always liked this cover. This sort of thing is not to the fashion anymore. When I was reading this, I wouldn't have paid attention to that, but this kind of cover, again, mostly the typeface, no needless illustrations, just great. Now, I pulled this down just because I saw it. I really, I liked this because it's sort of a match set. Individually, neither one is all that special, I guess, but you put them together, it's very interesting. It's another case of a book that I probably will not read at this point in time because my interests have moved elsewhere. Sorry about the reflections, but just kind of a nice thing. When it comes to poets, I think this is a real classic cover, this old collected Wallace Stevens. Just really well done. I mean, in this case, it's basically a photograph, but the color, again, you can't do better than that. So really a marvelous cover. We're getting down there. I've always loved this cover. And let's see if I can open it up better for you. I mean, look at that. Just really nice. Again, you've got a interesting use of color and a pretty straightforward design. I mean, this is one of my all-time favorite covers. My old Art of War. I've always liked this cover. It is not one that I would have said, oh, it's one of my favorite covers, but it's really just a well thought out design. Really nice. Recently, I mentioned that I saw this, picked it up, even though I don't particularly have any intention of reading Graham Greene, but I picked it up because I liked the cover. You know, I seem to have left some books behind, I think. Yeah, I left some books behind. Well, we are going to have to do without them. Well, what can I do? I may get up and just show you, but when I read Traitor's Niche last year, I think it was, or maybe the year before, I thought this cover was delightful. Again, you've got some nice typography going on, which always appeals to me. And it's a case of I would like this book in hardback simply because I have a companion to it. I looked through the publisher's catalog to see if it was a series. Come to think of it, there's a whole John Le Carré Penguin set that has really nice covers. The Jean Le Carré books are where they are not accessible. But I picked this up because I thought I wanted to read another by this author, and I just loved this cover as well. Again, interesting use of the typography mixed with the illustration. So I have not read A Girl in Exile yet. I hope to, but I would like to have this in hardback with this cover so that I could have a matched set. I mean, I don't really get a chance to display things, so it's not something that's likely to happen. And this is an example of the type of cover that I really like. I've seen better versions of this, but I just don't seem to own any. But this is exactly the type of thing. I'm sorry that this went out of fashion with the use of the typeface as the predominant feature on the cover, different sizes, and then having a nice balance. And here's a more recent version of that sort of thing. Just really, again, all in all delightful. And then look at the spine. I mean, that is really splendid. So that is, I'm trying to think what there is that I forgot to pull down. The only thing is, I think Hannah Arendt on, what is it, totalitarianism or something, which I purposely wanted in the Penguin edition, which I got. Let me see if I can get it for you. Ow. Yeah, I think that's the only book that I forgot. So here you go. I mean, just look at that. There are other books which I really like the covers of. The Unknown Soldier, which I recently showed on this channel, from I think it's a British edition. I love that cover, but it's irretrievable for me at the moment, and there are other books where that is the problem. So those are just a smattering of book covers. I thought I would just show those to you. Thank you.